On this week's episode of Into Geek, we get back into our season-long recap of Lovecraft Country for episodes 2 and 3. We then discuss the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and we discuss his impact on the culture, on film, as an actor, as a man, and just what he meant to us overall. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of Into Geek. This week, we're getting back into Lovecraft Country. The episodes 2 and 3, we didn't talk about episode 2 last week because it was all about fantasy football. But we're back with a double dose of evil.
Double dose.
And then we were going to play our first podcast game, and that was going to be Elevator Pitch. But some really sad news happened. Chadwick Boseman died, and we thought it was more appropriate to at least spend some time talking about him instead. So we will have the game. It'll be next week.
Yeah, hopefully next week.
Hopefully.
We'll also catch you up on all the DC stuff from
At
their
some
big
point,
fandom
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Lot
to get to.
According to like Zack Snyder, it's going to be the greatest thing to ever happen, ever.
4 hours.
14 hours of just Batman putting on his costume.
I'll watch it.
It's him, and like he basically lost a boot, and he's just like yelling at Alfred the whole time. Alfred! Where are they?
Where are they?
All right, guys. So let's get into Lovecraft Country. Episode 2 was called Whitey on the Moon. And skipping entirely ahead, that song was great. Like,
yeah.
It's at the very end, and it started off, I thought it was going to be like this jokey song, and it's just like a really powerful message instead about how like white people are on the moon and black people can't get jobs and black people can't like afford, rent and stuff, whatever, but white folks are on the moon, and shit. And I'll say that's been really cool. It's been like, there's a lot of like really cool music that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. The soundtrack is great for this.
I mean, like we're both white. So it's like, if you don't seek out that stuff, it was never made mainstream for us or whatever. No. So like, I've never heard it, but like, it's been fucking great hearing like all this like jazz and all this like a really cool, like rockabilly style stuff, whatever. So that's been really fun. The second episode, it starts off with the Jeffersons moving on up. And you got George in one room of the mansion, and Letty, I guess is right.
Lita or...
Letty, right?
Letty,
yeah, right,
Letty.
yeah. And she is in this closet, and she's in heaven because she's just like trying on these outfits and stuff. They all fit perfectly. He's finding an entire library of books, and they're doing great. And you juxtapose that with Tick, who is like miserable because he is feeling like these haunted nightmares of these monsters attacking them and them almost dying, and now that they're in this weird world and everything or whatever. And then when he sees them, they're like in great spirits, and they for whatever reason, they don't remember what happened last night.
When I first saw this, I thought they were copying something. Like, it reminded me, I was like, is this like Doctor Who, The Silence, like these monsters? Like,
I haven't seen that episode.
Oh, okay. In Doctor Who, there's The Silence, and what they do is like there's these aliens, and once you see them, but like once you just turn away even for a second.
Oh, the big like alien, angel things, right?
No, that's something different.
Oh, okay,
they just move when you don't look at them.
Okay, gotcha.
The Silence, it's a really cool episode of Doctor Who. It's like the whole season's about them, but they're like these aliens. They've taken over America, and like they practically run America, and they've done it the whole time. And it's because they can manipulate you, and you see them, and then once you just turn away, you have no recollection you saw them.
Weird.
But if you see them again, you realize you remember that you did see them. But I mean, you just turn away for a second. I thought they were going to do that, but then you later find out it's all a spell and stuff like that. But
okay,
like, I was like, oh God, I hope they don't like. Doctor Who already did this.
Yeah.
But
so
luckily they didn't go that way.
When I saw it, I was like, okay, I guess so this episode is going to be him trying to like get them back to normal, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen, right? So then we meet one of the guy from the first episode at the very end who tells him, welcome home.
Yeah.
I think his name's Titus. Titus Braithwaite, I believe. And he's basically showing them around the house, and they're looking at everything, and you find out that not surprisingly, the owner of the house was a slave master, and he was also this magic user, this mage of the dark arts. And you come to find out that he was a little too nice with a few of his slaves, which is where Tick came from. So we find out that Tick.
Well, there was like a fire and his mom escaped or something.
Before that, though, we find out that he is a long descendant of this person, and the guy says, like it doesn't matter how dirty the water is or something or whatever, just something fucking terrible. So Tick is like completely not trusting anything, and both of them are just like, whatever. They like go and have breakfast, and then Tick realizes that they don't remember anything at all. And so he's like, this is fucking weird or whatever. And so they go into town because they're trying to find his dad still. And the people in the town are looking at it because like they're all white, you know, and then they get to this tower and the sheriff is this like really mean chick and she has dogs and she has the little whistle. And they heard the same sound in the forest. So he thinks something is up or whatever. And then they end up going back a little too late. And folks keep saying, head back before dark, head back before dark.
For dinner.
And they get there, and all of a sudden, the monsters from the first episode run out at them, and they're about to attack them. And that high-pitched whistle happens, and Christina Braithwaite comes out, and she has control. Because we were talking about in the first episode that we knew that somebody would have some kind of power over them or whatever, obviously. And then as soon as they're gone, George and Letty don't know what the hell happened still, whatever. And so then you head back to the house. Tick gets to meet what's his name? Hold on, I wrote it down here. Samuel Braithwaite, and he's kind of a dick.
I will say the whole like Braithwaite, that's one thing. Like the way they looked with Christina and William, I think that's the guy's name or whatever. But
okay, I thought it was Titus, but okay.
But like I got this like Mullen kind of family from like. What's the vampire Twilight kind of thing? Like they all have like that. Cullens, not Mullins. Sorry, Cullens. Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. I was like, it's just remind me of the Cullen family. Like they're all like white, super white, blonde hair and stuff. Like it's just I got that weird vibe.
Sparkly skin.
Yeah.
And so basically, he then tells Tick that he is a long descendant and he needs his help. And then he kind of like sends him back to his room.
He's Adam though from like
he's
Adam from Adam and Eve.
And stuff. And so basically he's lived a long time. He's trying to open up the Garden of Eden, and he needs his help basically or whatever. And of course he doesn't tell him how originally. Yeah. And then Christina walks Tick back, and she's talking about friends and stuff whatever, and she kind of conveys in him like, hey, I understand people being shitty because I'm a woman and I'm a woman and I'm not allowed to actually like join the order and stuff, even though I'm more powerful than like most of these people in this house. And so Tick convinces her to let his friends remember because they couldn't understand things. And so then all of a sudden both of them would just start screaming and yelling or whatever. And then you get a scene where it changes over to Letty and she's trying to calm down. And then Tick all of a sudden comes in the room and he's like, trying to talk to her and stuff or whatever. And then you get a scene of George who's going through his library and he opens up this like passage in his like bookcase. Yeah. And then he ends up in this massive library. It looks like Indiana Jones, the Lost Crusade. Yeah. It's just like this huge thing. And he finds a charter of the original rules of the order. And so George is like, he's super smart, man. And so he's like figuring out shit, like behind the scenes. Yeah. And then we get Letty, who all of a sudden her and Tick start making out, and it's getting that way or whatever. And then you see that Tick's not actually in the room with her. He's in another room, and he gets attacked by some like Asian chick. And I don't know. And
I thought like it's a flashback.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Because correct me if I'm wrong. I think he like used her name, didn't he, or something?
I think it's like it was. A desire, or not exactly a desire. Like she's kind of had a desire, but then it turned hard.
No. I'm saying with Tick.
Yeah, I'm saying like his is. I think it like that did kind of happen. It was happening again. Kind of like it might have been some girl he saw whatever back in the war.
If we remember,
it's coming back to him.
Was it the first episode or the second episode that he actually called somebody and they were on the line? I think he was talking to them.
Oh, okay.
So I think maybe he hooked up with somebody like overseas or whatever and everything.
He's got some little ticks overseas?
Yeah, maybe. And so George then gets back, and then a woman that's not his wife appears, and it's somebody who's died, and they start dancing together. And George is like, yo, man, this shit ain't real. Yeah. This shit ain't real, whatever.
George is a smart fella.
He's smart. He's a smart guy. And then we see that all the orders of this weird society are watching them through these like magic doors or whatever. And so they're using them as like entertainment or whatever. And eventually Tick kills the Asian chick because they get this like really, really crazy fight. And then the fake Tick tries to pull out his penis, and it's a snake, and it's trying to like attack Letty or whatever. And then eventually it's like dinner time or whatever, and Letty's not allowed down there because
women aren't allowed.
It's not for women. They go to the dinner, and everybody's being like really fucking shitty to him. And then George is like, he gets up and he just starts,
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, he starts basically reading off all the rules and all these things he found. And so he basically is like well, like the only person here who has any power is Tick, actually, whatever. And so they're they're able to just like flip everything basically. And then Tick talks to Samuel, and he's like, I'll help you, but don't want my dad back. And so he tells him that, that they're at the tower, and so all of them race to the tower, find him or whatever, and try to leave. They get to the end of the bridge, and like this crazy force field hits the car, smashes everything. And then Samuel pulls up with Christina. There's an argument, and then he shoots George, and it's like, oh fuck, man.
No, not George.
And then he also shoots Letty. She dies.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you see that Letty's come back to life. And Samuel promises to also help George if he helps him out or whatever. And so he has to basically be like a conduit almost of like energy of this, like this, his blood's going to allow the gateway to Eden to like open up and everything. While the ceremony's going on though, it begins to kind of like shift, and his mother appears, and his mother like flips his script and puts all the power in him instead, and he's able to like reverse the spell, and it like burns down everything. It's just like, it's super awesome.
The house just implodes.
Yeah, and so everybody just starts dying, and then at the same time, Monterosa, George, and Letty escape,
and that's the end of the TV show.
I know, right? It's and then like Tick runs out the house chasing after his mom. Gets to the car, and he sees that like George is dead. And dude, like I'm like you, I was like, where does this show go?
I mean, that should have been like a season,
an entire season. It was
them at the house trying to figure out what's going on. Like they're wizards. Like, let's learn more about the wizards.
Okay, so I fully thought this is what was going to happen. That they would wake up. The one chick would try to like magically seduce Tick over like a few episodes to pull him away from his friends or whatever. They would turn them against each other. He would find out that they're doing like experiments in the town and the tower and stuff. There would be like a scene with that, and then Tick slowly growing in power until eventually he finds out that they've been using him to grow in power to then use him for like this like crazy spell or whatever, and then would end with him being the lone survivor, killing everybody else, and then it all burns down. I thought that's where it was going, because that's like a traditional story to me or whatever, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna do all that in 1 hour.
Oh, like one thing also kind of upset me. It was like, so they go to find his dad, and his dad's like already escaped.
Yeah.
It was like, well, if you never showed up, none of this would have happened, because his dad would have just escaped and left.
Yeah, and that was a great moment, because Tick thought he had done well, and
his dad's pissed.
And then he just realized that his dad's a fucking dick, man. That like that they risked terrible cops, monsters, fucking magic users and shit, and his dad's like fucking talking shit to him. He's just like, what the fuck, man?
He's like tells him, like, I hadn't written you in years.
Yeah.
Why do you think I would write you now?
I like that his dad is being played, I think it's Michael K. Williams. He played Omar from The Wire. He's in Hap and Leonard. He has like a few episodes on like Community. I love him. I mean, like he's so great. If you've never seen Hap and Leonard, it was on Netflix. I think it's like 2 or 3 seasons or whatever. It's fucking really, really entertaining. I really enjoyed it. And then The Wire is just great as well. I mean, like, if you have time to watch that, like that'll just bring you in. So that was that episode, and I was like, dude, that was crazy, man.
Like, I had no clue where the show was.
I didn't know either. And then we get into the third episode, Holy Ghost. And it kind of starts, we learn that it's 3 weeks after Georgia died. And so they've already come back and stuff. And then it kind of almost goes into like Letty buys a house. And it's this large, huge house in a white neighborhood. And she's trying to get her
sister. It's a fixer-upper.
It's a fixer-upper. And her sister, she's trying to get her to also move in, and her sister's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
where'd you get this money?
Yeah, where'd you get this money? Like, this is all bad." And she like finally convinced her, and she's like, well, "Yeah, and also there's an elevator," and she goes and opens the elevator, and she's like, "Oh, it's not working," and she almost gets her head chopped off as it flies down, man. Like, so that was like that should have been her first one, like, "Oh, this house might be a little weird or whatever." Yeah. And then let's see here, I wrote this down here. You then go back to George's apartment, and his wife, Hippolyta.
Yeah,
I think it's her name.
Hippolyta,
something like that. She's in mourning, and she's actually tearing up his like favorite book. You know, like she's trying to. I guess she's just
it's like a stress reliever, maybe. Or
yeah,
something.
And then she's kind of at her wit's end with Tick, even though he's trying to help out and stuff. She just doesn't want him there, and so I kind of got the feeling like she blames him a little bit, like ooh maybe
like
okay
she blames him. There's something they're not saying, like because it was
that's fair.
He was the reason they were going there. Mm-hmm. I mean, so like I think like she just wants Tick out, so he gets out, tries to stay with his dad.
He does, and then almost immediately realizes that there's a reason he didn't want to be around his dad at all. As like a fight almost breaks out. So then he ends up going to where Letty's new house. Yeah. And she has turned it into this like boarding house for all types of her friends and stuff who are artists and things like that or whatever. And like Tick's there, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna head back to Florida. I just I'm just done here." And then that's when all the fucking assholes have to show up, and so you get this scene of like 4 or 5 cars are parked outside, and they have all the horns jammed,
bricks,
with bricks on there, and Tick's like, all right, well, like I guess I'll hang out a little bit or whatever, and so and then it skips. Let's see here, that was day 2. Like day 2 is when the like neighbors start acting crazy and stuff or whatever. And then day 3 is when the horror begins or whatever. So like, you get a scene of Letty's in bed, and this like just this massacred hand is like pulling the covers off or whatever. And then the camera kind of shifts to like her on her side, and this like face like slowly comes up from the bed, and like her jaw's like missing or whatever.
She didn't have a mouth.
It was very cool looking.
Very old lady. Yeah, it was freaky looking.
Very cool. And then you go into like day 5. I'm sorry. No. Day 5 is when the horror starts. Day 8, that's when they're having like this huge party and stuff or whatever.
Housewarming party.
Yeah, and all their friends are there, and you find out like there's a scene of Letty like in the basement, and the heater's kind of going. I'm sorry, not the heater. Wow, the boiler is acting up or whatever, and then she hears like this violent banging downstairs and these voices and stuff. She takes Tick down there, and he tries to explain to her where when he was in war, they would do tactics of like
raising the
heat noises and stuff to like
make you go crazy.
Yeah, and so he's saying like maybe it's that, but like he didn't like not believe her, but like he was saying like because
he's seen some monsters, so
some crazy stuff or whatever.
I mean, I think he was also trying to say like he's been at war, so like your mind will kind of over exaggerate a little bit and stuff like PTSD stuff like that. I think he's like I believe you, but it could be, all in your head.
Yeah.
We just went through some traumatic shit.
Yeah. So then at the party, things are like, heating up and stuff or whatever. And Tick's actually wearing his soldier, he has a uniform. I always said costume. Like, geez, I mean, like, I guess it is a costume. Just to like show the neighborhood that he was like in the military, because like Tick he's. Man, okay, so like pausing that real quick. Something that like I wanted to say in the first episode, but like I didn't think about it until later, is I really like that they had this party composition where like what I mean by that is when you play like a role playing game like D&D or something or whatever, everybody tries to like fill a role, like so that there's a fighter type and things like that, right?
A wizard,
yeah, right. So I like that in their group they had the like heavy guy in Tick who could fight and stuff and do things like that. They had Letitia, who was the face,
kind of person,
the person who could talk and stuff or whatever. And then they had George, who was like super smart thinking and stuff or whatever. So now with George dying going forward, I think his dad is the one who's gonna take over for George or whatever. So and he's also very well read and stuff, whatever, but he's like an awful drunk though. So anyways, back to day 8.
Day 8.
You see that the kids are in the attic playing like a Ouija board and stuff or whatever, and like it starts acting crazy, and it actually says like George or whatever on it.
Dee was really upset by that.
Yeah. She's super upset, with all her friends and stuff or whatever. And at this point, Letty, is dancing with a guy, and like Tick's watching, and the guy's talking to Tick like, hey, like, if that's not your girl, you might want to like, tell her. So no, if that is your girl, tell her or whatever. And then like they have a scene where like they have sex, and you see that like she's bleeding. She's like, oh, I'm just on my period right now, whatever. And when that happened, my mind kind of thought maybe she was a virgin, because when in the second episode when Tick is in there with her, she like tells him to like stop and slow down or whatever, even though she puts on like a very promiscuous style or whatever. Yeah. It was kind of like
I'm just saying, like, I didn't think it, because like if she has this fantasy where she's about to have sex and the guy pulls out and the snake's on his penis, if you find out that's not real, I still want to second guess. I'm going to second guess actually going to have sex with them in a bathroom at a party.
So, you know what? Let me see that thing.
Let me see it before. You better cover that up. You better wrap it up.
So at this point, they go back downstairs, and there's crosses burning in the yard. And so at this point, fucking Letty's had fucking enough. And she like goes and gets her bat and shit, and she comes outside. She starts smashing up these cars, knocking off the bricks. And then like all the other guys get like shotguns to basically keep back all the other people in the neighborhood or whatever. And then as soon as she gets done, her friend pulls up, or her sister pulls up in the car, and they put all the weapons inside the car. And then like all the cops show up, and everything. And there's a scene.
They're already on their knees.
Already on their knees,
we're ready to be arrested.
And then in the paddy wagon, the cops are trying to get her to admit like who gave her the money. And he brings up that the house had like eight people were like died in it and everything or whatever. And then he starts like, like there's fucking brutality and stuff, whatever, because they're all pieces of shit. Yeah. And then, but like she then goes back down there and notices that like her pictures have these weird lines in them or whatever, and she begins to like put them on the floor, and all of a sudden it's a face, and it pops out and it yells at her, and then she starts to like investigate a little bit and everything. And then her and her sister get into like a really bad fight, and she accidentally lets it slip that her mom gave her money. In her will, or like
it was an inheritance.
An inheritance, yeah.
But like the mom doesn't have any money.
Yes.
So like the sister questioned that and was like, "Why didn't you share it with me? You're selfish. You're just like mom." They have a big falling out.
Because like up to this point, Letty has borrowed money from her and her brother. And like she's sitting on like all this money apparently or something or whatever. So
enough to at least buy a house.
Yeah, and then some. Yeah,
and have a little extra.
Yeah, so
fix it up too.
It was a big fight, and then she's basically like left by herself, and then you get this moment where Tick finds her at like a bar, and she's got like fucking photos and like news clippings everywhere.
She looks like Charlie Day in the meme. Yeah. She's like
and basically she tells Tick like what she's found, which is that like the house belonged to a guy,
old white guy,
who was a doctor or somewhere or whatever, and he was fired for like experiments and stuff or whatever, and found out that there was all these black people had gone missing in like South Central or in
the south side of Chicago.
Chicago, yeah. And so like she was kind of like putting it together that the cop knew the doctor, and the detective was a person announcing who was missing and stuff or whatever and everything. And so she like puts together that he was doing these terrible experiments to all these fucking black people and stuff, whatever.
And their souls are still there, and she thinks we should try to free their souls.
Yes, but Tick wants to just run. Because he's like, this is fucking crazy. Yeah, let's get out of here. But like Letty, as you notice, like that's not who she is or whatever, So I thought it was a really good episode for her.
It was.
It was very cool. I think she comes off very, very powerful at times, and not in like a pandering bullshit way. Like I thought her character had like really good growth. It was very cool. And so she goes and gets a friend of her mom, and it's mentioned a little bit that her mom was this like hustler who faked being psychic and stuff, whatever. But she had actual friends who might have actually knew magic and stuff, whatever. So she goes and gets this, it's like a voodoo witch, I guess, and they just like kill a goat on the steps, and then she starts putting blood on people, like, and Tick's like, what the fuck is going on? And they go like in the basement to do this
seance
and some chanting, and then white people break in because they see them killing. They see them doing like fucking dark magic.
I thought
guess.
They were just coming.
Maybe that's fair. I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, like, because they didn't come through the front door, they kind of came through the windows and stuff. So, like, I don't even know if they saw the goat's blood. Because I might have turned around if I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, fuck this.
They break into the house trying to find them, but they find ghosts instead. Yeah. And it's unintentionally funny. The large basketball body with the little bitty baby head is hysterical.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
It was kind of cute too. It was like
it's like Baby Shaq or something.
It did, because it started going at him, and then its eyes are like, ooh, and then they turn, and their faces got blasted with this like hot steam, and their faces like melted and shit, or whatever. So it was weird because it was like, that's kind of funny scene with like, God, that was fucking horrifying.
I mean, it is. It's funny, but it's also that kind of creepy funny.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah, that's what I was saying when we watched it. I was like, if I saw that in real life, I would be freaked out.
Yeah,
but seeing it with the protection of it being fake and on TV, I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Like, I will say this, like, some of the CG isn't the best, but I do notice they do use a lot of practical effects.
Yeah.
And stuff, and those look really good. Like when the elevator.
I think that was actually CG.
I mean that part, but I think when the body falls, and the blood,
maybe,
stuff, that's all practical effects.
But like, so that the whole elevator thing got like set up really well.
Yeah.
Because like when I was hit her, you're thinking like, man, that would suck to get hit in the head with that. And then like he puts his head down and just, and I thought it was gonna go down. It went up and clipped his head off. When I was like, oh god, and then it fell and it squirted everywhere and stuff and everything. And then down in the basement, while this is going on though, the seance is really beginning to like pick up steam and it's starting to work and stuff, whatever. And all of a sudden, the voodoo chick gets like smashed up in the ceiling and across and everything, and then gets taken over by the ghost of this doctor. And then she basically throws Letty, and then Tick tries to like come at her, and she just like smashes him against the wall. And then I think she died, right?
Because gets knocked out.
Like, it didn't show it, but like her I know in the subtitles it said like bone crunching noise. So I don't know if he broke her neck and then went into Tick or something or whatever. Because then Tick all of a sudden is possessed. And then Letty brings forth all these ghosts to like finally come together like in strength and numbers. And then they begin to like take his power away, and all the while healing themselves from these like horrific fucking surgeries that like he had like there was like one of the chicks where he had chopped off her breasts and stuff or whatever. He had taken off one guy's legs.
Like one dude's like whole torso. Like
man.
Her body's gone. It was just, you could see like the legs kind of crawling.
It was almost like Nazi-esque style terrible surgeries and shit that they used to do on like the, folks in like the Holocaust and stuff. Where it was just like these terrible fucking experiments. So then eventually they come together and like
they kind of complete the seance. They hold hands kind of, and she starts chanting what they were chanting. And
it's pretty cool. And then she kind of like this like cathartic moment of her like telling him to get out of her fucking house or whatever. It was cool. And then it shows Tick, and he sees Christina Braithwaite's car inside, like in town, and he's like, "What the fuck, man? Like this shit was supposed to have died." And he goes in, and he kind of puts two and two together and figures out that she's the one that actually gave Letty the money. It wasn't from her mom, and he knew it because of the name Winthrop. They had mentioned it a little bit earlier that the house was the like Winthorpe house or something, whatever, and he had heard it before, but he didn't tell Letty about it, and so as soon as he saw her, he was like, well, that name was carved. It was carved into the a
painting
or something in the house, and she explains that Winthrop was a member of that like society, and that he stole pages of the tome, and so he came here, and that the doctor was one of his like random students or something or whatever, and so he was trying to do the magical experiments and stuff, whatever, on these people and everything. So, and then like he tried to like Tick pulled out his gun, he was gonna shoot her, and she's just like, "Come on, man, are you fucking serious right now?" Like, and like just completely punks him out, and she has like a very calm, casual conversation with him about there's these these pages that can lead them to like hold on. So are they trying to use the pages to get to the tomb, or the tomb to get to the pages?
Oh, she says something about how like people will work like their whole lives, and they can come up with like one spell and stuff like that. And she like, obviously you kind of see that she's got more than one spell.
Yes.
She's pretty powerful. And I think like some of the spells are in like a book or something like that.
Yes.
And this guy ripped out some pages, so they can't figure out and read the book is not complete.
And she says something about like only like the person of his blood can really read him or something or whatever. And so I think she's trying to like use him.
Like I don't think she don't want him dead. I mean,
not yet at least.
And I mean, honestly, I think she kind of used him. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she's the one who like let George find that
I think that
like passageway so she could like I think she's setting up because she was like, I can't be a part of this. I'm stronger than y'all. And she's setting up the whole thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked because then the scene of the like, things to come or whatever, it showed the other guy, the butler as well, is not dead.
Yeah.
And then it showed them convincing Monterosa to also go with them into this tomb and stuff or whatever. And so,
but they, of course, like they mentioned the tomb. We need the pages to get in the tomb and do all this stuff. It's like, if the next episode's got the tomb, is it like another season-ending show?
Dude, it feels almost like a Monster of the Week style show with continuity. It's really strange.
See, like. I don't know. It's like I feel like it's like horror stories. Like it reminds me. Like for some reason, I got this like Tales from the Dark Side. Not Dark Side. Tales from
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in each episode is like its own story.
Yeah.
And like the characters are the same.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like it's this ongoing continuity style story or whatever. But there's like. It feels like a big event every episode. There's no build. It's just like, hey man, here you go. Here's some horror, motherfucker. Like, so it's been kind of fun. It's been because like in the first episode, you really got a lot of the. That one was slow. It was
character building.
It was character building, but it was still intense. Second episode just throws it all at you, and that's the entire like magic, like fish out of water story and stuff, and then it ends with all this craziness. And this one's like a horror house,
haunted house episode.
It's like a hell house, and stuff, whatever. And the next one, I guess, is almost like Indiana Jones style adventure, except there's like horror. So it's almost like Tomb of the Mummy or something or whatever, So I mean, like I've enjoyed it so far. So if this is the pacing where it's at 11 every episode, I don't know where I'm gonna go, dude. It's incredible. So I'm hoping that it can keep this up.
I do think they need to, I guess, get more to. Like, I still don't know what the story's about in a way. Like, it does feel like these separate episodes.
That's
like,
fair.
I need to see like the first episode was like, we're going to figure out about this house and all this stuff, and that's what like the whole first season was going to be. But then they ended that.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Like even like if you watch Supernatural, like the first season,
explains.
The idea is like, hey, we're looking for the element. We're going to have all these episodes in between. We're going to be fighting werewolves, vampires, but like the point
it's all leading there.
It's all leading, and I have no clue where this is going.
I think that's a very fair point. Maybe because we don't know why Tix decided to go find this book. It's like, so I kind of think that she told him to put it in his head so that he would go find it because maybe like she can't find it herself. Because I mean that's a trope sometimes in movies. They'll let people leave to like follow them to like their hideouts and stuff or whatever. So I wonder like if she knows that he'll be able to like figure out where it is or something, and so she's just gonna follow him there.
Like I mean, it's possible like his mother or something like has some kind of book, some kind of pages of something that could do that, and that's why like she doesn't have it. So like, maybe he can do it. So I can believe that.
Fair, yeah. But I mean, like it's been a good show so far. So I'm excited.
Good stuff.
So from something fun to something really sad, Chadwick Boseman passed away on Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Which, for those people that don't know, that was I think August 28th. Because today's the 30th, I believe.
Yeah.
He was 43 years old. He was born in 1976 in South Carolina, and he was really just like kind of coming like into his own. And it come to find out that he was diagnosed with colon cancer back in 2016. Which happened, like, I don't know if it was before he landed the role of Black Panther or around the same time. But, dude, for anybody who has dealt with a person who's had cancer, it wrecks your body. And it can turn a person into somebody unrecognizable. My grandfather had colon cancer. And, like, towards the end, he was just in pain.
I mean, he had, stage 3?
It went into stage 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for the fact that he not only acted but got into incredible shape while doing this and doing like Civil War, Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then he did
21 Bridges,
The Five Bloods,
They're Good Marshall movie.
Yeah, I think it sounds right. And just for him to work that much, all the while doing charity work as well.
Yeah.
And going to St. Jude and places like that and seeing these other kids that had cancer to like give them hope all the while he's dying. And like, he didn't tell anybody, you know? I mean, I'm sure like his friends probably knew, his family knew, but like the fans didn't know, you know? And that's totally his right.
Of course.
But it would just like, for him to just like silently go through that, you know, is just so fucking crazy to me. It's like, and like,
especially like, I mean, you know, if you're a Marvel superhero, especially an icon like Black Panther was, as big as the movie was and stuff, like you go to those hospitals all the time and stuff. And the whole idea of like you're meeting all these kids that have cancer and you're going through it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like incredible.
And like trying to give them a hope when you don't know if you're going to live, you know, or not and stuff, you know. It's just, and then it makes me mad when guys like Martin Scorsese shit on these movies.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's not just because I'm this grown man child or whatever. It's because I don't think it's fair to shit on anybody else's worth, you know, and say that like what they do is not as good as what you do, and it's ruining films and stuff. And it's like, I think at a certain point they get so much air up their own ass that they think they're more than they are. You know, it's like people from LA are so gassed up in their own fucking egos. Like, dude, you all play make believe. Like all of y'all loved make believe as kids, and then thought, how can I do this and make money? And congrats. And like
you're all trying to tell a story.
Yeah. And like I love movies. I fucking love them to death. I love actors, but it's like at the end of the day, you dress up in costumes and play make believe. I mean, so for you to like say that like your movies have more value because they're mob movies or it's this or that,
based on a true story, whatever,
based on whatever, and then but to say that their make believe stories are worse, you know, is just it's just kind of crazy to me, you know. And so and just for the amount of the millions of fucking people who watch all these movies, you know, Black Panther, everything or whatever, and just like found value in these characters and that they gave them confidence or
they inspire them,
you know, to do things or whatever.
Martin Scorsese movies don't inspire you. If it does, you need to go talk to someone because you're going to be a gangster.
I mean, like it would inspire like other filmmakers maybe or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you know,
true.
But like, you know, it's for, I mean, like to watch like Chris Evans or somebody, you know, or Chadwick Boseman or Tom Holland go to like hospitals and things like that, and then unveil themselves, and to see like how much it means to those kids is like, it's priceless.
It's not even just going to hospitals. Like that kid who saved his sister and stuff. Like they do voice things and send them to him, and
that's what's crazy. It's right. I mean, like it sounds,
because they are superheroes and like they represent it almost in real life. It's like, hey, and they make these kids like, hey, you know, you're a superhero.
Her brother would have never have stepped in the way probably, but because like he saw Captain America and all these characters and he wanted to like embody that. It didn't even like, you know, he just did it. Yeah. And it's like, I totally get that. Because when I was growing up, you know, I didn't have a lot of, I mean, like I learned some of my morals from Captain America and stuff, you know. I would read the comics and like, I would like figure out what was right, like, and what was wrong and stuff, you know, and to like, you know, fight for people and stuff, you know. So like, I totally get that. And like, I've come out of movie theaters and I've seen kids, you know, just like playing and doing things, and just like, that stuff matters to me, man. And it's like, it just the level of ego to like trash the thousands of people who work their fucking ass off to give the world something to just like entertain them and be great, and it's kind of, it's made me less trollish over the years, where like I used to be like that asshole critic that shit on everything, and the last couple of years I've really tried to like ease back and just enjoy things. And I'm not saying that I don't still have my complaints about things, but I've been trying to find what's good in things more than like what's wrong. And like you know, like Twitter, I got off Twitter because like it was making me a toxic person and stuff, and so like I was just angry all the time. So everybody should be off Twitter, like Jesus Christ. But for those who don't know, man, like Chadwick Boseman got a start on All My Children, right? Yeah. Tell that story.
Okay, he was on All My Children, and he was, I don't know how many episodes he did, but he saw that the part was like written as just like a black guy, and it was just all the black guy stereotypes. I think he was in a gang or something like that, and he was adopted by one of the families and stuff on the show and stuff, and he hated the character and like ended up quitting the show, saying how the character was poorly written. It's all stereotype, and he just wouldn't do it anymore. Ironically, Michael B. Jordan ended up replacing him. And because of how he quit and the reasons why, they actually changed the character and tried to make it where it wasn't so just a stereotypical black person in crime and stuff like that. And Michael B. Jordan did it for like 3 years. And it's crazy. Then they both go on to be in Black Panther.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, that's just a small world.
But yeah, it's just funny because I saw like another random story of this.
You know the Denzel story?
No, what's that?
The Denzel story. He was like he went to Howard University.
Okay.
And he was doing theater and stuff. And actually, Felice Rashad, whatever, Cosby's wife in the Cosby Show.
Okay.
Was like the teacher and stuff. And they were they got like not a scholarship, but they got accepted to like some big Oxford University for theater and stuff like that.
Okay.
And Denzel Washington paid for all the students' tuition to go and and Chadwick Boseman was one of those guys.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like he thanked him in one of his speeches about it. It was like it was some tribute to Denzel, and he was like sitting there telling the story. He was like, "And you paid for me, and now I'm Black Panther, and I'm Thurgood Marshall. I've done all this because of you helping me get my education in theater and stuff like that."
And it's like, man, like we talked about it like a few times, and like it's great to like find out that the people that you like admire are just good people, and not fucking assholes, whatever. And like it's just like I haven't heard one bad story about him come out or anything, and it's just like all these like random people are just telling stories about him and stuff, and just like all these like this outcry of just like love from all the fans or whatever and stuff, and just like a TNT's fucking basketball halftime show had a thing about him and stuff, like it mattered like that much or whatever and stuff, like there's this thing on like Fallon like back in like 2017 where they had a bunch of like random black people come up to this poster or whatever, and Fallon was like, hey, just tell us what what the movie meant to you, right? They didn't know that Chadwick Boseman was like over there or whatever, like hidden. And so like there's all these people coming up just talking about what it meant to them and stuff and everything, and then like eventually he would come out and stuff and like hug him and everything, whatever. And it's just like, for as much as I like the other Marvel movies, like they didn't matter like that, it's like and there's a reason why. So like when we first watched Black Panther, I was saying this earlier that like I watched it as a comic book fan first, and so because like that's who I am. I've been in love with comic books since I was like 10 years old or whatever, and I feel like I grew up with those characters because I read them for so long, and they felt like these just friends in my life or whatever and stuff. So when I went to see it, because I love Black Panther or whatever. And so, and then the last fight looks kind of bad and stuff, and there's some issues here and there, and it's just like,
it's not a perfect movie, but it's good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and then it got like nominated for like Best Picture, and I was like, that's fucking bullshit. It shouldn't have been nominated. I mean, Infinity War, like if I deserved it and stuff, whatever, right? And then when he died, my wife had it on the next day when I came home with lunch. And I was like, okay, cool. It felt fitting to like watch it and everything. So and then she went to do some stuff, and then I was by myself watching it, and it was like the first time I tried to watch it just as a fan of movies and to try and see from the perspective of all these black people that meant so much to. I tried to really look into it to see what they saw, to see if I could also like appreciate things going on and stuff. And it's like, I remember the first time we watched it, and I was like, man, like Chadwick Boseman's like not even like really interesting in the movie, and I
mean, yeah, like when you do watch it, like so many of the other characters really do stand out. Okoye, Shuri, like all of them.
And then like watching it again, man, like there's so many great moments of him acting like that. Like you just because
it's subtle. It's
very subtle, man. It's like, like him talking about how his dad failed everybody and stuff, and how like, he didn't, and like him accepting like Eric Killmonger's thing, knowing that like, that he has to right his dad's wrongs, and like there's just like so many moments, him talking to his mom and stuff, and just like it's all these little things I didn't catch or whatever, originally. And we're talking about when he sees Mark Freeman's character in the like casino, and so he goes up to him and just like, hey, Claw's gonna be here and he's coming back with us. And like Mark Freeman tries to like power play him and stuff, and he's just like, I'm the fucking king, bitch. Like, and it's just like Captain America wouldn't have done that, it's totally different, right? And I remember you probably find my like super old video, whatever, of me talking about Civil War because I was like super excited about it.
I remember you loved Black Panther in the movie.
Yeah, and I remember watching Civil War, and I in that video I have a 5-minute section where I'm like, yo, Chadwick Boseman is a fucking killer. Like he is Black Panther. Like I watched it, and I wasn't sure how he was gonna be, but I remember watching it and being like, wow, like he's Black Panther.
He's awesome. Yeah.
After watching, I was just like, there's nobody else who could play this role. Like as much as Chris Evans is Captain America and Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, like he's Black Panther, dude. And just like I remember leaving there, and originally I was hoping to get the new movie for Spider-Man because it's supposed to come out, and so Black Panther had been pushed away. And then after I saw it, I was like, I want Black Panther first. Like he was so awesome in this movie, or whatever. And Chadwick Boseman was so great in the role, and like his dad dying, and like on that entire thing, like he just goes for it, all that is amazing. And so I went back, and when I watched it again, it's like the third time I've seen it or whatever. Him and Michael B. Jordan are just great.
Oh yeah,
they're just really fucking good. And so it was the first time that like I tried to pay attention to the acting really, and that scenes, man, like it's shot so well. It's so colorful. It's so vibrant. The soundtrack is amazing. Yeah. Which I've been listening to like last 2 days or whatever. Like Kendrick Lamar just fucking killed it, man. Like it's such a unique soundtrack. Like there's so many paint by numbers other soundtracks from Marvel. Like Iron Man is just like AC/DC mainly and stuff and whatever. I would say like Captain America is the only other one that has like his own like themes and stuff. That
I think Thor has his own. He did. I don't think he has it anymore.
Did they played it? I wouldn't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Like in the first 2 movies they had it. And then when Taika Waititi, took over the third one, like he was like, I'm going Flash Gordon 70s kind of stuff, and they changed it and stuff. Yeah, but he did have his own.
It's just like as memorable as like Wonder Woman's is from like Hans Zimmer or whatever. Captain America's is, and like
the Avengers theme. I mean,
the Avengers theme and like Black Panther's theme. They're all very unique, and they feel like they belong to that character. And just, I mean, like so many of these things are so good, man. And like, it just like, I didn't. And so then going back, I was like, you know what, maybe I'm okay with it getting Best Picture nominated. I mean, like I don't think, I'm not saying it was the Best Picture, that year or whatever, but like it deserved something. It deserved nomination, man. I mean, like it was really strong. And I don't like the third act. Because it becomes your basic Marvel movie. And that's why like Dark Knight is better than it, and everything, because that is like a strong movie throughout, and it doesn't really fall into that
formula.
Yeah, that cookie cutter formula, whatever. And it's like I wish that there hadn't been this huge colorful fight at the end. I wish it had been like a more like intimate thing where it was them fighting or something or whatever, and just like
because their first fight when they're in the water is great.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really strong.
That's
or whatever.
Great.
Yeah, and it's him just yelling like is this your king? Like I just all that's great. And then at the very end, Michael B. Jordan's line or whatever about like burying him like in the ocean is fucking great. It's just like, so it's just like I wish there was more of that in the third act, because that was really, really powerful. And I think it would have made it so much better, but Marvel's Marvel, and they have to do those things sometimes or whatever. And for those who don't know, the final CG fight scene was done in 1 month. So that's why it looks so bad, because they had an idea originally, and then they scrapped it, and they literally had to throw something together, which is why it looks really bad or whatever. But for a month's worth of work, that's not terrible. It's just for Marvel standards, it's not there. Especially like after watching Civil War, you're like,
you saw Endgame, and you see Thanos, and like, it's all so good.
but like beyond Black Panther, he played like Jackie Robinson in 42. He played Thurgood Marshall. He played Jackie Brown, so he played like all these like no, sorry, not Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown.
James Brown.
James Brown.
Brown.
Get on up.
Yeah, so so he hit all these really, powerful roles and stuff,
I mean, the first thing I saw him in was Draft Day, the football movie about the draft, and he played Mac. And you know what? You have to draft Mac no matter what. Okay, that's what you do. But he was great in that. I mean, that's a fun movie if you're a football fan. I love the NFL draft. And I loved him. I think Arian Foster's in it. Yeah, Kevin Costner and stuff. Right. And it's a fun movie if you like the draft. And it's very Hollywood, but it's a fun.
What's
movie.
Crazy is that literally there's some pops out here. I don't know if you can see them on the camera or not or whatever. But I own. There's 3 here. I didn't like. I bought 2. I bought Iron Fist and I bought Black Panther because those are 2 of my 3 favorite heroes. My third is Moon Knight. So those are my 3 favorite heroes of all time. And that's why I have him, man. And what's crazy is that when we found out he died, it didn't hit me, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then watching Black Panther, it really hit me, whatever. I'm trying not to cry now, whatever. But so it was almost the equivalent of watching a video of you and your friends or something, and like that person had died, and you're just like, God damn, he's just gone or whatever. So it felt like I had lost somebody, whatever. Because
and it sucks. I feel bad. These parents are gonna have to tell their kids, Black Panther was their hero. For a lot of black people, that was their superhero. Yeah. And be like, hey, and have to tell them that he passed away and stuff like that. And that I don't know how you would tell. I got a 3-year-old. I have no clue how I would tell. Yeah. If her troll person died or something like that.
Her Optimus Prime or something like that.
How do you tell a kid that? And that's, so many parents had to do that this week.
Also, I want to say it's sad and also gross that parents took pictures of their kids doing the salute, and then had all their toys out and
I saw
Black Panther.
One.
And the kids are crying. I'm like, did they make their kids do this? Jesus, man, that's super sad, dude. I agree. So I remember getting into an argument with somebody, and they were saying that Black Panther was the first ever, black superhero. And I was like, that's not actually true, whatever. There was Spawn and Blade, whatever, and there's one more I can't think of it. Meteor Man.
Steel.
Steel, I guess, whatever. But to me, Blade was the first real character, whatever. And but folks.
Blade was a real character. It was just, I guess Blade was more. It was R. So kids are not getting behind Blade. You're not taking your 4 or 5-year-old, 6-year-old to go see Blade.
But it's like you're saying that to them I agree, Black Panther's they're Superman, man.
Yeah, so Captain America.
Kids who are growing up now. That's his salute will be as iconic as Christopher Reeve's pulling off the shirt, and
you see the bat belt,
the red, yellow, blue, and stuff, whatever. So it's I hate, but it's so hard to explain. I've always loved these characters because of just comics and stuff or whatever. And I'm so glad that he was able to take this role, represent it so well, and to show everybody what I loved for so many years. And so for all these people that couldn't care about comic books or whatever, went and saw it, and they loved the character, and they want to move there and stuff or whatever. And I love that he inspired so many people, because it's something that I had felt for years, and it's I'm just so thankful to have been able to have met a childhood hero of mine. And he'll be missed, man. And it stings beyond him being Black Panther, whatever. It just stings that a really good guy's gone.
He was gonna be the next Denzel Washington, pretty much.
He was just hitting his prime. Yeah. It just hurts, man. It's when Kobe Bryant died. I watched almost his entire career, and it sucked. I was like, oh, man, he was young. That really sucks, whatever. But I know certain people, it hit them really hard, yeah, because they grew
I know
up
a lot
watching
of people
him.
That were Lakers fans, and then when he retired, they weren't Laker fans anymore.
Yeah,
they were. I hated the Lakers, but I always liked Kobe because, I don't know, the dude was a bad man.
Yeah, he was. He was very, very charming, and a lot of people really, really hurt when he died, right? Yeah. And so, and then but it didn't hit me like that. And when Chadwick died, it hit me like that. I was like, God, fuck, man. It's with heavy heart, man. It sucks. And I could ramble about him for another hour or something, whatever. But I don't want to hold y'all to that. I will
say, did you ever see what's his name? Who's Jimmy Kimmel does mean tweets?
Yes.
And they did an Avengers one. And his is actually my favorite one. He reads because he sits there and he goes, the main tweet was, how does the baddest brother on the block have the whitest name like Chadwick? And it's just so funny when he reads it.
How did the coolest, blackest dude in the galaxy end up with some white bread ass name like Chadwick?
I mean, he's laughing so hard because he's like, that is so
That's
good.
And he was on SNL's like Black Jeopardy.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
But he plays his character from like Black Panther or whatever. so all his answers are very like, you know, profound and prominent, but they're all from the Wakanda style thing where it's just like, you know, like, I would call the authorities. Like, whoa, are you calling the authorities? Look at T'Challa. He's like, well, yes, you know, they would come and like, you know, clear up all the problems in the area. It's like, oh hell no. So it's just great, man, and I'm thankful to be able to talk to him. I hope other people can hear how I felt, how Chase felt, or whatever, and know that you're like you're not alone in caring that he's gone. And hopefully, I'm hoping that his role is never replaced. I mean, like, I
see, like I thought about that, and I was thinking maybe it should, because I mean. So, like, I mean, Hulk got replaced and stuff like that. Joker's been replaced 5 times. I mean, Heath Ledger, he died. He was great in it.
I don't think Heath Ledger should have been replaced, but you know, it's like, but like if DC needs money, and like Batman was their like main property.
I think the good it would do to inspire, like,
I think it was going to be his sister at some point, anyways.
See, I think it's possible that they were going to do that maybe because, you know, like they were going to do 1 or 2 more Black Panthers and they were going to pass along.
Well,
he would be like 50 at that point.
I think that she turns into at some point to Black Panther or whatever.
Know that, Lord.
But like, I was watching the first one and like they burn all the like Black Panther stuff or whatever. So it's like I don't know how they can make it into Black Panther. Or whatever,
I mean, no, I'm saying like. They would keep the same character, just have a different actor.
I hope they don't do that.
That's what I think they'll do.
I don't like that at all. That's terrible. Unless they do the like Paul Walker thing.
I mean, honestly, with the technology, if you can make Robert De Niro look young and all, I mean, you could do all this stuff. But I think it's kind of in bad taste to do that. I think that's worse than having just another actor play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just it all seems in bad taste. I mean, like I hope that like. Disney's greed isn't there where we're like, well, let's just get like, you know, next man up. Let's just do this, you know, whatever.
This is Disney. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I really hope not or whatever. But I hate that it took him dying for me to find another like level of like appreciation for Black Panther or whatever. But I'm glad I found it. And I'm glad that now, at least to some degree, I can see what others saw and what made them inspired or whatever and everything. So I just hope that the next person who steps up is able to do as much as he was able to do, whatever. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Next week we'll be doing elevator pitch. Yeah. At some point, we'll be doing.
We'll do elevator pitch. Talk about DC and
hopefully the camera works this time.
Yeah.
This
will see us.
This will be the 3rd time that we've tried to film it, and it's messed up each time. So every episode, I keep referencing things or whatever, like the football episode. We're talking about the trophy and stuff, and I keep saying my name will like never be on this trophy, but nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah. So hopefully that'll work. Hopefully this will work, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.